would like to start recording. Okay, perfect. Okay, so again, welcome everyone to today's session of Harm Reduction Project Echo. I know some people just came in. Today's topic is combating community stigma, the NIMBY challenge. I have a couple more housekeeping slides before we dive in. We'll have our didactic presentation first, followed by a scenario presentation, and then Q&A. I believe we're also using Menti today, so there should be a Q&A box. If you'd like to use that, you're also welcome to raise your hand, come off mute, use the chat box, things like that. Just be respectful of everyone else, and also remember to be inclusive. We encourage an open dialogue between attendees as well as growth for all, regardless of your background or your level of experience. Next slide. So today's speaker is Shamar Gunn from Streetworks. He specializes in HIV prevention, community engagement, outreach, and data-driven research. He has a strong passion for the Black LGBTQ community and those experiencing substance use, and he's been actively involved in HIV awareness and LGBTQ rights since his teenage years. And he emphasizes that community is the foundation for meaningful change. So welcome, Shamar. Whenever you're ready, you can share your slides and get going.
Hi, everyone. All right, how can I share my screen? Okay.
Should be in the top right corner next to the leave button, says share. Yeah.
Okay, can we see?
Beautiful.
Yes.
Okay, well, let's get started. So, like Anastasia said, my name is Shamar Gunn, and I work for Streetworks. I was asked just to do this presentation because we actually had an instance where we had to combat stigma with the community, along with a little NIMBY challenge, but we were able to get through it. So that's what I'm here today, just to let you guys know. So I have this presentation just to keep me on track. I just want this just to be a conversation and just me storytelling, just normal conversation. So if you don't know what NIMBY means, NIMBY means not in my backyard. So this refers to the opposition against development projects located near residents' homes, even if similar projects are supported elsewhere. This resistance is often driven by fears of potential negative impacts on local life rather than valid concerns. So the importance of addressing stigma. Addressing stigma in syringe service programs is essential for fostering community acceptance and trust. By educating the community and the public about the benefits of these programs, we can combat misconceptions and promote a healthier community environment. So, understanding NIMBYism. So NIMBYism, like I stated earlier, often arises from fears about potential negative impacts on local quality of life, rather than legitimate concerns about the projects themselves. So obstacles to development. This phenomenon creates significant obstacles for necessary developments that serve the greater good, such as infrastructure improvements and affordable housing. Social economic disparities. The conflict between individual comfort and communal needs often leads to social economic disparities, impacting long-term growth and resources for the community. NIMBYism creates significant social economic disparities within communities, often prioritizing individuals' comfort over collective needs. So stigma and exclusion. Moreover, NIMBYism fosters stigma and exclusion, alienating individuals who require essential services. This attitude not only affects those in need, but also overlooks broader societal benefits, such as improved public health, safety, economic growth, perpetuating a cycle of misunderstanding and resistance to necessary changes. So our mission, embracing harm reduction. So our mission at Streetworks is centered on harm reduction. Our strategies that prioritize the health and dignity of individuals. By focusing on reducing harm instead of perpetuating stigma, we strive to create an inclusive environment. Through our syringe service programs, we offer safe disposal of syringes and vital access to health resources, ensuring that everyone in Nashville is supported, safe, and connected to essential services.
You need anything to eat or drink while I'm up, P?
So before I get into community engagement, I just want to let you guys know about how we had our experience with some NIMBYism here at Streetworks. I would say about September of last year, we had a couple of our neighbors just concerned about what the syringe exchange was and what was going on, not knowing that we have been located in North Nashville for going on 10 years now. We have one person that literally lives directly behind our organization who was very concerned about syringe exchange being close to their home. And that person was honestly a hassle to deal with. They would come into the organization and try to take pictures of what's going on, take pictures of our license plates, contact the state and say that we aren't taking precautionary measures and things like that. But in the midst of all that, we got a call from the state just letting us know what was going on. We always ensure that everything we do is safe. So when they're telling us about it, it's like, we know how you guys operate. We know how you guys are set up. We just want to let you guys know that we have your back, but this is what's going on. So I immediately went to my executive director. We had a conversation. And so we decided that we have to actually get out here and talk to the community and let them know what we are doing and educate them about what we are doing and how it's actually impacting a lot of lives in North Nashville. North Nashville well, it still is a heavy drug populated area, but the streets are a lot cleaner now. There's less syringes that you will find. There's less people you will see overdosing in people's yards and in the streets, and that all happened, and that's all thanks to the work that we do here at Streetworks. So we set up a meeting with the HOA. We went to the HOA. Actually, I did a presentation letting them know how we receive our syringes and how we dispose of our syringes safely through the health department, letting them know how all and everything that we do is legal and all the laws that are regulated with it. And after doing that, well, we have the police department there as well, and we work closely with Metro Nashville Police Department. Shout out to Metro Nashville Police Department. So we do a lot of work with them. They actually came in the midst of this just to do a site check, just to see that we were in compliance with everything, and they assured us that everything we were doing was great and that what we are doing is very needed in our area. So they also talked about that at the HOA meeting. The police actually said that they've seen us in the streets. They've seen us go out to actually pick up syringes. Because even when we're going out and outreaching in different areas, or we are at our locations to do syringe exchange, we might have people be like, hey, we found syringes at behind our store, or da 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 da. And so I will take it upon myself to literally go around the whole community and we'll pick up the syringes, safely, but we will pick them up and have them disposed of safely. So after we give that presentation, a lot of the concerns they calmed down a little bit, but there were still concerns as always. There was one person who asked, well, who said, I love what you guys are doing, but does it have to be right here? And all we could say is we've always been here. And so these people are just now moving into the community, not actually knowing what's around their community. And so that's where we come in to help educate them and let them know that we're here and it's all safe and they have nothing to worry about. So after our meeting with the HOA, everything kind of settled down. We haven't had any issues since then. That was almost a year ago. But yes, we're still working with our HOA closely. We talked about actually having 24-hour surveillance in the community. just to alleviate any concerns about syringe use going on in in our area. Also, a cleaning system. So we got with the HOA, and they were just, hey, can we come around your alley? Can we come into your property, do some cleaning? And we said, yes, that's more than welcome. So literally once a week, they'll come out and they'll do cleaning, and they ensure us that every time they do cleaning, they do not find syringes. So thank God for that. But that was just a little story of how we had to combat NIMBYism here. But everything is safe and it's sound. So just like I've always said, you just have to be one with your community. I feel like your community is what actually makes our work and continue and actually help us continue to work. Like our community is what needs us, and we have to keep our community safe. So back to what I was, community engagement, collaborative partnerships. So we collaborated with our HOA, like I said, the Metro Nashville Police Department, and our local community organizations to foster understanding and trust regarding syringe service programs. These partnerships enhance community involvement and provide a platform for open dialogue. Informative sessions. Our informative sessions focus on explaining the benefits and safety measures of syringe service programs. We aim to demystify perceptions and illustrate how these programs contribute to overall community health and safety. Stigma reduction through education. By addressing community concerns through education, we reduce stigma associated with harm reduction services. Engaging residents in discussion helps alleviate fears and promotes a supportive environment for those in need of assistance. Addressing community concerns. So, like I said, we met with the HOA, we met with the community to figure out what was actually the concern, what was the pushback, why didn't they want us here in the first place? So, reducing overdose risk. By implementing safety measures, we minimize the likelihood of overdose occurring in residential areas, thereby protecting the community's well-being. We provide educational resources and workshops that clarify the role of syringe programs, addressing common myths and misconceptions directly with community members. And once again, open dialogue. But let me come over here. This is how we measure our impact because of the community. So when we did meet with the HOA, we provided them with surveys of things that they would like to see from our syringe exchange and what would have helped them alleviate concern with our syringe exchange. They said they would like signage around just to let people know, like, hey, no syringe use at this location, at this area, right here, and we made sure to make that happen. One concern was that people felt like people were going into the dumpsters to find syringes, when in reality, there is no syringes in the dumpsters. So we decided, let's just lock dumpsters just to alleviate all of that as well. So we lock our dumpsters and put signage on the dumpsters as well, just to keep everything copacetic. Also, they were kind of concerned about people leaving syringes in their yard. And we told them the whole point of the syringe exchange is so that will not happen. And so since we have been here, there's been a lot of thanks because of that. So people are not seeing those syringes in the yards, in the alleys, or by local businesses like they used to. So health metrics. We collect and analyze health metrics such as rates of overdose and access to health services to measure the tangible effects of our program of public health. A lot of people might not know, or you may know, there is a weekly update of metrics throughout Tennessee that's sent by email, lets you know how many overdoses there were in each area, how many overdoses there was throughout this week, where they were at the ER, and like treated, and reversals. We actually keep all of that information because when we are going out to educate the community, I want them to see all of the numbers. I'm a very data-driven person, and so I love for people to see the work that's being done by the numbers that we have done. Community input sessions. So community input sessions allow us to engage with residents directly, fostering an open dialogue once again about their experiences, perceptions of the services that we provide. So just traveling back a little bit, improve community relations. Community engagement initiatives have significantly improved relations between residents and syringe service programs. By fostering open communication and collaboration, we have been a reduction in stigma and increased support for harm reduction efforts. Positive interactions have built trust, leading to a more unified approach to community health and safety. So testimonials from our local residents, because when we have conversations with the community they trust you more. They're more open with you. And to find out a lot of residents have had somebody that have been impacted by overdose or drug use. And all of those are very eye-opening. And I always say, if we work together, we can get a lot done. And so that's what we're doing, actually working together with the community. So local residents have shared powerful testimonies showcasing the benefits of our initiatives. Many report feeling safer in the neighborhood due to the reduction of discarded syringes and the presence of supported services. Stories of personal transformation and community solidarity illustrate the positive impact of our programs on individual lives and community as a whole. One person from the HOA literally came to us right after our meeting in tears, and said that I know that a lot of people were against what you guys were doing, but I just want to let you guys know that I'm 100% for it because I lost my daughter to overdose. And if I knew that you guys were here, she would still be here. So those are the things that matter to me the most. So some strategies for reducing stigma. Public awareness campaigns. We need to raise awareness with syringe exchange. So public awareness campaigns highlight the positive impacts that syringe service programs could actually have on the community health and safety, aiming to shift perceptions and reduce stigma. These campaigns utilize various media platforms to reach a broader audience and engage community members in the conversation. Community forums. Community forums create a platform for open dialogue. Once again, open dialogue is very important for you and your community, allowing residents to voice their concerns and ask questions about syringe service programs. These interactive discussions foster understanding and strengthen community relationships, encouraging a collaborative approach to harm reduction. So fostering community support for syringe service programs. So to effectively combat NIMBYism and societal stigma, it is essential to cultivate a supportive community atmosphere. Streetworks' dedication to harm reduction initiatives emphasizes the positive impact of syringe service programs on public on public health and safety, ultimately benefiting everyone. By promoting an understanding and collaboration within the community, we can dismantle misconceptions and encourage active participation in those vital programs, paving the way to improve health outcomes and social cohesion. So once again, it's all about community. And so instead of actually making people feel bad for what they do, we just want to love on them and hold them, let them know that they're loved and they're cared for here. So we always want to say, always reduce the harm and not the person. And thank you.
Thank you so much, Shamar. I first of all, I love Prezzies. Second of all, I love hearing the story all the time because it does have like a really happy ending, and it's well, not even just an ending, it's pretty ongoing with your continued collaboration. And I know like not every organization gets that happy feeling from their neighbors, but it's still really nice to see like there is this possibility, there is this hope for like some beautiful partnerships to come out of any sort of misinformation that can be demystified. So if anyone has any questions, you can feel free to put it in the chat. You can also raise your hand and unmute. Really quickly, I have a quick question. What was the name, or do you have a link to the weekly data update thing that you had mentioned?
So that actually comes from what's her name? Is it Nisha Gardner?
Oh, Tanisa Gardner from United
Yeah.
Way.
Yeah, from
Okay.
United Way. But if you ever need it, I can always forward it to you. Yeah.
Gotcha.
I'll forward
I
it to
do
you.
get it. I'm not sure if other people in the audience do, but we can share it in the chat.
Well, yeah, so if you guys don't get that information, just leave your information in the chat and I'll make sure that you guys can get on the weekly news, I guess, newsletter, I would say.
Okay. Any questions from the audience?
Allie, you'll have to go to the next slide for folks to be able to, there we go. You should be able to enter in questions now in the Menti, but you can also unmute or put them in the chat.
Go ahead, Sherry.
Hi, I do have a question. So I have attended one meeting of community communication regarding some harm reduction and services, not syringe exchange services per se, but for a MAT, and we had the whole NIMBY campaign going on here, and it got very heated, and I wasn't in the panel or participating and just observing. And this conversation became someone went to jail actually during this because it was so us against them kind of thing going on. And we struggle with let's see, I'm going to put this nicely. Our law enforcement here, the whole department is pretty much anti anything. They won't even accept Narcan to carry. So I was just wondering if you have any ideas on maybe how to take a brick out of that wall.
I don't really know how to take a brick out of that wall. But all I can really say is weigh them down. That's all you can do. You just have to literally keep on going, keep on having these conversations, keep on having these meetings, and literally educating them on how safe this is, on how literally what we are doing is not really causing harm at all. We're helping the harm that it's causing. And that's what everybody needs to understand. And I feel like once you kind of break down that mode, which is hard because it's like sometimes it can feel like it's beating a dead horse, but I can assure you that it's not. So it's just weighing them down. That's all I can just say.
Wear them down. Okay. Well, that's what we're doing. We're trying to go around behind the back door too to get started. So, when that way we can have some actual numbers and data to hopefully present that we are being effective in some way. So
I'll put my email in the chat and you reach out to me, okay?
okay. Thank you.
No problem.
Sonia, you have a question? And then we'll get to the Menti after that.
Okay.
Sonia, did you disappear?
Oh no, I didn't disappear.
okay.
I just wasn't off mute.
Okay.
To piggyback on her question or her comment, there are a lot of especially in rural communities, we run into a lot of the same problems where the local authorities are not so happy to have we do a syringe services program also. And as we were trying to come up with communities to have it in, it was a little frustrating sometimes to talk to some of the law enforcement or people in those communities, because most of the communities we approached, we knew that there was already an issue um, with especially with intravenous use drugs. So we weren't approaching you because you already didn't have a problem. But the other thing that we should probably talk about is just connecting with those partners in the area that are like recovery centers, because they see the after effects of the drug use that exist. And a lot of times putting some numbers in with the amount of people in the area that actually are participating in um in addiction recovery, or though for those who may attend, say, um a homeless shelter or shelters in the area also, where they may be able to see that there are other issues that exist outside of just use itself. So I think those things, and partnering with those folks in order to go to like your law enforcement agencies and those who you know you will need support from. I'm happy to hear that Metro is positively affecting your organization, uh, but also understand, the concerns from others who may not have that same type of support.
Yeah, completely understandable. I say when it comes to working with the police department, it wasn't roses in the beginning. It took some time actually to have them on, on our side, and that just happened because of communication and actually educating them on what we were doing. Also, my executive director used to be a a councilwoman, so she's very about the law and law abiding, and so literally she has relationships with these police officers and detectives and all of these leaderships and sheriffs and all of these people. So literally, she actually has conversation with them, let them know what we are doing. Also, we have safety plans that we send them to let them know how we operate and stuff like that, so they can get a better understanding, so they can go out and actually let the community know, hey, this is a good place, this is a safe place, and we are actually working with them. So it weighing them down. That's weighing them down.
And I know we're a little bit running out of Q&A time, and I might send you these questions to follow up with Shamar if we don't get to all of them. But in the
Okay.
Menti on the screen, do you have anything particularly useful that you used for the HOA? I know you kind of spoke about like showing that you're on the same side and weighing them down, but is there anything else specific to the HOA that you use to get them more on board?
Okay, so you see how I did this presentation, right? So this presentation, it can really get with my mind. It can really mess with my mind a little bit. So I overthink, and I'm my biggest worst critic. So I made a presentation to actually go and talk to the HOA, but then I was like, what if they have questions? I want everything to be answered in this presentation. So literally, I put everything in the kitchen sink into a presentation to let them know about everything that we do and educating them on everything that we do. Also, providing them with all of the organizations that we work with, including treatment centers in Meharry and Vanderbilt and all of these places, so they could also get a sense of, oh, if they trust them, I might trust them a little more too. So it's a game about who you know, honestly. And I say know everybody. Try to get to know everybody. But that's all I got.
Yeah, I agree. Like making those partnerships and then name dropping them, that sounds like a really good idea in not just this situation, but a lot of other situations as well.
Yeah, and
Do you have it?
when people be
Go
like,
ahead.
"Oh, I'm against name dropping," drop those names.
Hmm. If you've got them and they're allowed to drop your name, why not? Um, do you plan to have other conversations as follow-up with the community?
Yes, we actually do. My executive director and the president of the HOA literally have conversations often now. And so I actually love that. And they actually asked us to come out again in October for a little community meeting. So we'll be back again to raise awareness for the newer people who are moving into the community.
Perfect. And then the last question in the Menti, you spoke on calling community members, such as the state. Can you speak on the support needed from partners and agencies to help?
Okay, so once again, we are already working with the state. So what we are doing is legal. What we are doing is safe, and it's already been proven to help and to work. That's why we are here. So in order to actually um, get the support that we need, it wasn't that hard, I would say, because the state already had our back, when it comes to the harm reduction work that we do. So it wasn't that hard to actually get the support, but once I let them know how everything was going on our end so they can get both sides of the story, they were more inclined to, oh, well, maybe this is a little rambunctious. And we know how you guys are. We literally have site visits every year. We literally submit everything monthly to let them know what we're doing and like the work that we're doing and the processes that we have going on. So I'm pretty sure you already have the support that you need from the state, so I wouldn't even worry about the state.
Awesome. There is one question in the chat too for you, Shamar, about your presentation, I believe, with the HOA. And they're saying that was awesome and so wise. Is that presentation something you'd be willing to share with other SSPs or talk with them about?
Yes, I will. I would love to share it.
Should they just reach out to you through your email?
But yeah, so yes, if you guys would like this presentation, just so you can review or have on your own, I'll more than likely send it to you. My email is in the chat. I'll repeat it here: sgunn SGUNN @street-works.org.
And we'll upload some of these resources and contacts in the iEcho platform so that you guys have access. And so that information will be in our follow-up email. And just to build off of what you said, Shamar, like us at the state, like we also are invested in community safety and health, and we see SSPs as a valuable piece of that. And so when these concerns come up, like we're vested in the same outcome that you are, which is community safety and health. And that's how we like to approach these things and are aligned in those priorities. And I think it's about navigating those conversations to get other folks to realize we all actually have the same priorities at the end of the day, is building that social cohesion, building community safety, building community health. And so it's all about getting us all on the same page, which sometimes is, weighing them down and a long, long convoluted road, but we'll get there eventually.
Awesome. Well, thank you again, Shamar, for the lovely presentation. You got a ton of kudos in the chat.
Thank you.
So yeah. So we're gonna stop the recording and we're not gonna be recording the following sections. We'll upload this video to YouTube within about a week, and the Menti will stay open for engagement purposes, and you can always use the chat. But we're going to move on to our scenario presentation. If you remember from last session,